We're now in the final countdown to the first presidential debate in United States history between a sitting president and a former one. New details emerging about what to expect tonight from President Biden and former President Trump. And joining us now live is NTD's White House correspondent, Iris Tao from the North Lawn at the White House. Good evening, Iris. What's the latest?
Good evening to you, Steve. So President Biden has now landed in Atlanta after spending the past whole week poring over policy books and holding mock debate sessions at Camp David. And earlier today in Atlanta, he also greeted supporters, making a stop right there. And meanwhile, his camp saying that Biden tonight will highlight his achievements throughout the past 3 years and also draw a clear contrast with his 2024 rival. Watch.
I want you to hear Joe's words, but most of all, I want you to listen to his heart.
There'll be millions of Americans watching. He takes that opportunity very seriously, making sure we're giving Americans a little bit of breathing room and not giving tax cuts to billionaires.
Meanwhile, former President Trump is reportedly doing final brush-ups with his advisors on the flight to Atlanta right now. And that says he, while also holding some policy sessions, stayed mostly active on the campaign trail leading up to the debate. And today, earlier on Truth Social, Trump also previewed some attack lines on Biden's border and energy policies. And now the two campaigns are dropping some last-minute ads both in battleground states and here in Washington, D.C., with Biden's focused on abortion and Trump's focus on the border and the economy. Watch.
They're putting us back decades, if not centuries. Donald Trump did this.
Are you financially better off since he became president?
And as we now inch closer and closer to hearing their actual clashes on the debate stage, let's remember some rules present at tonight's debate. First, when the candidate is not speaking, their mics will be turned off, meaning even if they speak out loud, they will not be able to be heard by the audience in front of the TVs. And also, there's no live audience or reporters allowed inside that debate venue during the debate. And that is sparking some new controversy. The White House Correspondents Association and a group of senior White House reporters and today expressed, quote, deep concerns over the lack of media access, saying at least one reporter should be in there to tell the public about what's going on. For example, when their mics are turned off, what are they saying behind the screen? And also, for example, if any unexpected events happens on that stage, they will be able to capture that. Right now, CNN has not given a final response to change its rules. Meanwhile, third-party candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's not qualified for tonight's debate, says he will be doing a real-time broadcast on X on his own, and that, he says, will allow him to answer the same questions posed tonight to Biden and Trump. Back to you, Steve.
And Tiffany Meyer and myself will be checking back in with Iris throughout the night for tonight's pre- and post-debate analysis starting at 8:30 p.m. right here on NTD News. Thank you, Iris. We'll see you soon. And all eyes are on the debate stage in Atlanta. Republican and Democrat lawmakers spending the day giving their assessment and setting expectations for the matchup. Our Washington correspondent Luis Martinez has more on this story.
Lawmakers had set expectations ahead of Thursday's first presidential debate. Republican Congressman Troy Nehls, for example, wore a Trump-inspired necktie and expressed confidence that the former president would come out on top of the matchup.
Trump will thump the chump. They're going to have to give the president something to keep him, keep him eyes open. I want Biden to do just okay, because there are Democrats out there, probably some of them in this chamber that I'm going to walk into in a minute, that do not want him to do well. They want an alternate candidate because the polling shows Trump's going to beat Joe Biden.
While Democratic Congresswoman and squad member Pramila Jayapal accused former President Donald Trump of being authoritarian.
What the president will do is show the clear contrast on how he's protecting freedoms. Trump is trying to take away freedoms. Biden is for protecting our democracy and making sure that people's votes count in elections. Trump is for being a dictator on day one.
Some Republican lawmakers also suggested the possibility that the presidential candidates might not be the same come November.
My theory on debates are you bring your side, I bring my side, and we both leave thinking we won.
So you don't think it's going to necessarily move the needle when it comes to voting?
No, I think what it could do, though, if the president has a complete meltdown, President Biden, which he's very capable of doing, I believe the Democrats will start looking at the governor of California as their nominee.
Republicans and Democrats did agree that Thursday's debate is an opportunity for both parties to showcase the stark contrast in the offers of both presidential candidates.
But all of that is a distraction from the fact that you've got one guy who is a career public servant, Joe Biden, who has devoted himself to the public good and talks about issues and talks about policy, and another guy who continues to be utterly frivolous and wants to engage in ad hominem attacks and character assassination.
California Governor Gavin Newsom confirmed that he will be in Atlanta to support President Joe Biden, while 6 Republican lawmakers will be in Atlanta also to support former President Donald Trump, among them Vice Presidential hopeful Byron Donalds, J.D. Vance, and Marco Rubio. Reporting from Washington, D.C., Luis Eduardo Martinez, NTD News.
Key issues for tonight's debate are hot-button topics like immigration, abortion, and the economy. How will the two presidential hopefuls defend their track records and visions for the future of America? Joining us now is Oklahoma Congressman Josh Burkeen. Congressman Josh Burkeen, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Steve.
Great to have you back. Congressman, immigration policy certainly going to be on the agenda tonight. How do you anticipate former President Trump to defend his previous policies? And also now you have President Biden with recent executive action at the border as well. How will he go about talking about his?
Yeah, look, I would just say that for President Biden, the word action after the word executive is pretty misleading. When you have 195 countries and 100 of them, according to the San Diego sector, they're being told not to deport anyone from those 100 countries. This is the same couple of weeks that, after post this executive order, you've got a 12-year-old girl raped, murdered. You've got a 15-year-old girl raped. This is on the back of multiple killings. The American people know what's going on. This administration has been feckless in protecting this country against an invasion of our southern border. You compound or contrast that rather against under President Trump, 45-year low of 1 year and a 40-year low in another year during his 4-year term. President Trump had incredible solutions that have been undermined by 60 different executive orders reversing Trump-era policies since this administration, since Biden took office.
Another major issue that's sure to be brought up tonight is going to be the issue of abortion. Some have said that the issue of abortion is a third rail for Republicans. What do you expect former President Trump to say tonight to the American people on the Republican stance and policy on abortion?
Well, I hope he'll point people to the absurdity of states that are up until the point of delivery are in favor of killing the unborn. The insanity of that position, and that we have to have a cultural awakening in this country. And I am not going to be one of those that says we need to back off of a pro-life position. I believe that this nation, looking at the murder of the unborn, how astounding a position to support that is. Ronald Reagan challenged the Republican Party in the late 1970s about bold colors versus pale pastels, when the same question was being posed to him and his generation about, do we need to flatten a party platform? And Reagan responded, we need to have a party that stands for certain values that are easily recognizable. And so that's what we need. We need a party that is waving those bold colors, not watering down our message.
Now, as for the economy, Congressman, President Biden has been campaigning on low unemployment numbers to say that his economic policies have worked well for the American people. How do you anticipate this portion of the debate to go, and what should President Trump be highlighting in his to tell his story?
It'd be a slam dunk. It does not take anyone that is experiencing $1,300 more per month compared to January of 2021 to afford the same goods and services. It does not take a whole leap of faith to make the statement things are not as good as they were under the Trump administration. There's a report by Zillow that says for Zillow's perception of the ability to afford a home, it's in the $100,000 range, $130,000, $103,000 range to be able to afford a home, that type of salary per year. Compared to what was $58,000 a few years ago. Ask the average person, looking to purchase a home, their affordability. A $400,000 home on a 30-year fixed mortgage will cost you north of $2,200. It was $1,300 3 years ago. The people are experiencing this. They know what's happened. It does not matter putting the lipstick on the hog that the Biden administration wants to do. Things are telling in the ability to afford goods now.
Congressman Josh Burkeen, really appreciate you joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching the Capitol Report. If you want to see our full broadcast, check us out at epochtv.com.